Haunted Michigan. Terrifying Tales.
Well, here we are, another installment of Haunted Michigan. I'm your host, Meltdown. Just pleased to have Ed Terebus here, of course, the owner and proprietor of EREBUS. They opened up in 2000, and it's really become one of the biggest haunted houses in all of not only Michigan, but also the Midwest. But I'll tell you what, Haunted Michigan isn't about haunted houses. It's really about the paranormal and stuff. And we're going to get into all that kind of stuff. But first, I just want to welcome Ed to the studios. How you doing, Ed?
Doing very good.
Now,
not only are we biggest in Michigan, we had the Guinness Book of World Record, so we're one of the biggest haunts in the whole world.
That's right. Okay. All right. Well, I stand corrected then.
There you go.
Well, that's great. Now, tell people for how long does it take? So my daughter went through this last year. I think she said something like 45 minutes or an hour to go through.
It depends how fast you're running.
Okay.
You know, when things are coming after you, some people move quicker. But it's just over a half-mile walk through the haunted house.
Wow.
So, 35 to 45 minutes, depends how fast you're moving.
Now, we're going to get into some of the paranormal stuff here in a little bit, but let's just talk about EREBUS first of all. You were just explaining to me the name, so you've probably talked about this a million times.
Yes, actually, we were actually looking. We used to be called the Haunted Gallery. We did haunted houses for 20 years before we bought this building. We wanted one name, just something unique and different, and
like Cher or Madonna.
Exactly. And I was reading a vampire novel, and all of a sudden they're looking, and they started talking about EREBUS. And put the thing down. I looked into Webster's definition is the Erebus is the darkness beneath the earth that the dead must pass to reach Hades. Greek mythology, it's a son of chaos, a brother of night. And then cooler than that is put a T in front of it, and that's our last name. So,
wow.
We were meant to do this kind of stuff.
That's right. So I was going to say, so you bought EREBUS, the building, in 1998, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then you said you were already doing this for 20 years previous.
Yeah, we did mobile units. Our first haunted house was 1981. It was a structure we built in the parking lot. We pre-did it in the backyard, and we charged $1.50.
Wow.
Needless to say, we lost money, but we found out a lot of things we did wrong, and we immediately moved to mobile home trailers. And then we actually had 4 mobile home trailers, which came out to like 2,800 square feet. The third year, we added one more in the middle of it. It came out to 3,400 square feet. We ran that for 13 years. Sold that to a church for $1.
Wow.
And then picked up 10 trailers, which were 14 feet wide by 70 foot long. And we were running that one, and you're moving 10 trailers, temporary electrical, temporary water. We're going, man, all this stuff, storage of these trailers. I go, we could buy a building for all the money we're spending.
Right.
And then we ended up, we looked for about 4 years and found the building we're at now. And
Now, obviously, in downtown Pontiac, it's kind of like a perfect place for something like this. This building was, how big is this building that you have now?
The building's over 100,000 square feet, and it actually was vacant for 40 years before we got it.
Wow. So there's been a lot of time for ghosts and ghouls to gather.
Oh man, there's all kinds of stories and stuff, and we can share a few of those.
All right, we'll get in that here in just a few minutes, but I just want people to get the back history of that. Funny thing about me, I love the paranormal, I love horror movies and stuff. I do not like haunted houses. I don't like walking. I don't like being touched. None of that stuff. I can see the wheels already turning. We got to get this guy into EREBUS. But no, it's one of those things where I'm just not a huge fan of that kind of stuff. Obviously, you are a haunted movie fan too, a horror movie fan?
I love all stuff horror.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are some of your favorites?
My favorite horror movie, I want to say Alien and Jaws. I mean, those two got me good as a kid. Now, I'm very difficult to get. So, I might flinch on the inside, but on the outside, I'm not moving. But my guys are always trying to get me. That's one of the, just things we're doing within the haunted house is trying to scare each other. And it just makes us giggle,
Right. And how many people do you have working out there?
There's usually about 10 of us full-time, year-round. We do the haunted house. We do the escape rooms. We're opening Oddities and Curiosities Museum. And then we're also doing the making of the monster now. Right.
I think I saw you guys just post something on socials that you were looking for actors and stuff. Is that kind of a normal thing every year?
Yep. And we have a pool of, that's our scare labor.
Uh-huh.
And our pool of scare labor will probably be, 150, 250 people. And then we need, anywhere from 75 to 100 people a night, depending on the year.
Mm-hmm. And so when you walk through your haunted house, are there rooms, like, do you create rooms, like, for example, like there's another Saw movie coming out. Is there a room similar to that? Or how do you get your ideas for some of the rooms and different things?
It changes. Everything changes all the time. I mean, we don't change the whole haunt because it's a half-mile walk. That'd be virtually impossible to do. We change about 20-25%, and it all depends on what our feelings are, for that year. What's coming up. We might see what movies are coming up and try to emulate some of those things. It's a lot of it might even be somebody has an idea. Like, one year one of my guys drew a picture of the guys walking through the swamp. We go, man, that'd be kind of cool. How do you make a swamp? And then we had to go and dissect all that information. How do you create resistance? How do you create the feel of mud? How do you make the look of water? And we created airbags, put foam on the floor, bring the lasers down to get the swirling effects for the water effect, And we're actually taking our swamp. If you ever seen a haunt with a swamp in it, we're the guys that invented that.
Okay.
Kind of brought that to the table. And now we're taking our swamp and kind of bringing it up the next couple of notches, So this year should be kind of cool with the swamp. And everybody loves the swamp.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if I like swamp. I thought quicksand would have been a bigger deal than it was when I was growing up. Everyone was afraid of quicksand back when we were kids. Remember that?
Yes. Quicksand would be a difficult one because they got to make you go down in. But we do have a buried alive. Put you in a room, slam the door, fill it up 6 feet 6. How long can you hold your breath? So, I mean, it's kind of like quicksand.
Yeah, that's something I probably won't be doing anytime soon. But, no, I just saw a video with Tobin Bell in the Saw, in the first movie where they were in that bathroom, and he was just in this room. And that room is so creepy. And it's just like this old abandoned bathroom.
They did have a competition years ago in the haunt industry, and somehow I missed, they just said build a Saw room. And I missed one of the files, never got to me. So they kind of gave you a diagram of what they were looking for, but we just went off on our own, And the funny thing is, I actually had a chainsaw in the room, bolted down to a table with 10 cinder blocks in there, with a sign that said "Do not touch." But I electrified the handles, so if you touched it, and it's funny because they'd be walking through, and there's always one guy that will grab that thing. He'd be screaming, everybody's going, "What?
Chainsaws are very scary, by the way.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Especially when they're electrified.
Right. It was just the 50th anniversary of the day the Texas Chainsaw Massacre took place in 1973, in August 18th or something like that. But the movie came out in 1974.
Okay.
So at the beginning it says August 18th, 1973. I was just watching it the other day. So people can go through EREBUS, like a normal haunted house at night, on the weekends or throughout the week and whatnot. But you also had this, The Making of the Monster, a walkthrough documentary. So what's that all about?
That's for people like you. You don't want to be scared, but you're interested in Halloween. You're interested in all the things like that. We actually installed over 40 monitors throughout the haunted house, and we no actors. The lights are on. The sounds are there. Turned down a little bit. We're trying to explain to you, how we got into the business, our history, how we came up with the name. You'll be able to come in there and see the display, but then look up the monitor and see how it works, without having it work on you.
Okay.
So, we literally got things in there that will grab you, bite you, land on top of you, that kind of thing, bury you alive. So you'll see the video being buried alive, but you won't be buried alive. Reviews have been through the roof. Everybody loves it. You can walk through on your own. So might take you a half hour. We had a couple walk through. I thought we lost them. I'm running around looking. They spent 2 hours walking through the haunted house and watching each video, a couple times, and they were awesome. Left us a great review. But no, it's for anybody who doesn't want to be scared but wants to experience Halloween a little bit.
Yeah. Now, where'd you come up with this idea?
You know what? We did a little test last year. The problem was we just called it an EREBUS matinee, and all of a sudden it's like, EREBUS, a not scary weekend. No, we're scary, just not for that 2 hours, So we decided to do it and modify it, gave it its own name, Making of the Monster. We have our own T-shirt for it, our own tickets for it, totally separate from the haunted house. The haunted house is scary 100%, and then this one here is just not. And it's for people that don't want to be scared. You'd be surprised. I was talking to a guy at New Year's Eve. Here's this 35-year-old guy, and he's as big as me. He's 250 pounds. And he goes, I ain't going in there. What do you mean you're not going in there, man? So people love Halloween, and what are you going to do? You can't trick-or-treat no more. So, it's like graduating from trick-or-treating. Next step is haunted houses, So we want to make sure everybody has the ability to come experience the haunted house, even if they don't want to be scared.
Now, do you yourself travel the country, perhaps, and go to different haunted houses for ideas or for inspiration or anything like that?
We'll travel the country. We'll check out other haunted houses. We go to the trade shows every year.
Yeah. Is there like a whole haunted house community of people that you know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
We belong to America Haunts, which are some of the top haunts across the nation, and we share ideas and thoughts, kind of like a brain consortium, you know.
Yeah. Have you ever thought? Well, we'll get into paranormal here in a second, but like for example, let's say the Sallie House. You know about the Sallie House in Kansas City? They say it's the most haunted house in all of America. And like also the Lizzie Borden house. I'm thinking about staying there coming up at the end of September, but I haven't really pulled the trigger on that one yet. But would you ever think of buying a house that was actually haunted like that and doing something with it?
I lived in the haunted house from 1998 to 2013.
In the area here?
No, my haunted house. I lived in the building. I have a
in the
loft
building.
up in
Okay,
there.
got you. Okay.
And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So
well, let's get into it. Go ahead. What have you seen there? You're talking about EREBUS right now in Pontiac.
Yeah, there's just all kinds of things. There was a rumor that somebody passed away in the basement prior to us getting a homeless guy froze to death or something like that.
I think I've heard about that.
We went into the boiler room. In fact, you want to come on by? We still have. That's a room we haven't even touched. His pillow and blanket are still in the corner. It's it's covered in dirt and dust and all kinds of grime. We've actually had paranormal investigators come, and they came out. They wanted to come after our busiest night, which is sweetest day. It's 2:30 in the morning. We're closing the doors. I'm done. I'm going to bed. I told my nephew, I go, you watch, you hang with these guys.
Right.
So they went down there and they put a flashlight in the corner where the guy's sleeping bag, where his blanket was. And they're going, turn off the flashlight. Turn off the flashlight. And my nephew's standing there for 45 minutes and he just got fed up. He goes, turn off the flashlight. And it went off. And I go, oh my God, the spirits are talking to you. Time to turn it back on. So for 20 minutes, he sat there and go, turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off. He goes, you know what, Ed? He goes, I'd call that bullshit. He goes, but that was my flashlight. So, I mean, we had that. And then there's on the second floor where the elevators was like a hot spot. On the third floor, I mean, let me just backtrack. My wife is from Thailand.
Okay.
So the first time she came out to visit me, she'd come to my loft. And as you're going from the second floor to the third floor, walking up the ramp, in between each joist going up was a skeleton hanging. And then you have to walk past all our caskets. And this aisle way down here is all body parts. And pass all this stuff to get to my house. So she's probably going, what the hell did I get myself into?
Right.
So we're sleeping in the house. And on the third floor, we have some wicker caskets, which are kind of like body bags, pre-body bags, okay?
Those are real things or like props?
Well, you could use them for a prop, but these are real things from, they're ancient or antique body bags.
Okay.
So who knows how many bodies have been in there. And I guess they were outside my loft area, and I guess they have a voice recording going, Ed. And I'm thinking, I'm sleeping on the other side of that wall.
So you just talked about how many other paranormal experiences have people witnessed there?
That one, in fact, it's funny because I mentioned my wife, and they believe in ghosts in Thailand. They actually build a ghost house before they build the house to house a good ghost before they build a house where they're going to live in. So they had another paranormal people there, and we come walking around the corner, and the lady goes, oh my God, I just saw an apparition, from the waist up. And I kind of went, oh, we got to turn back around and get out of here, man. Because I want my wife, I can't have her be scared living where we live, We had a group of guys. They used to be the Ghost Hunters. They had a show out there.
Yeah.
And they took the Connects box and they put it on top of their iPad. So a Connects will look at you and turn you into a stick figure, okay?
Right, yep.
So they're looking at their iPad. They're looking at you. You're a stick figure. You're standing in the doorway there. All of a sudden, here comes two more figures coming up behind you. And I'm looking, and there's nobody there. And one of them kind of floats away, and this woman was standing there, and his stick figure is behind her, literally petting her hair. In fact, I'll send you the video if you want. In fact, me and my other guy were there. We're going, get the hell out of here. No way, man, we're looking. But, I mean, and then all of a sudden next to us, the temperature's going down. They get the temperature reading things, and very, very bizarre.
Wow. And have you caught any of this stuff obviously that one's on video, but you have video when people are going through the house, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever caught anything crazy on there? Or there's just probably just too much chaos and commotion?
It's too much chaos and commotion to watch. I mean, the only time we actually, I'll have somebody watching, because we have 44 cameras. One guy watching 44 cameras at one time.
Right.
and it's kind of nuts. And normally we're looking for troublemakers,
Right.
or crowd backing up, or anything anything we need to do to try to hit it off at the pass before it gets too bad.
So you've had the ghost hunters come in. What was the first paranormal group? Do you remember what they were called?
That was Lower Michigan Paranormal Society.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we had them come out, and then Channel 4 came out and did their own investigation, and then they took all that information, and then we were actually on My Ghost Story, episode 63. So if you check that one out, you can hear about the flashlight and all the other good stuff, and they got footage of that.
What was this guy's name? Did you know the guy in the that died in the basement?
I do not recall that, but when the show came out, somebody called the front office and talked to Michelle, the office manager there, and go, I knew that guy. So somebody knows him. I don't recall the name offhand.
Yeah. Any other stories that have taken place out there? Is that pretty much it?
No. I mean, you got to get Joe in here. You got to get Steve in here. Get the other guys in here. They've been touched. They've been scratched. Joe talks about some red orb flying through the place and waking him up because he was sleeping. You can actually. The building is very unique. The basement used to be a cab company. The first floor was retail. The second floor was a bowling alley, bar, billiards. The third floor was offices with a little bit of parking. The main parking lot was the roof. So you can drive your car anywhere, and you can drive your car on the roof.
Wow.
So he was working on his car in the basement, and he worked late, so he was just sleeping in the back. And, yeah, he has this whole story about this red orb coming through his truck, waking him up. And he's terrified.
He won't stay there by himself anymore?
Oh no, not too often.
So when people go through EREBUS, they go through all 4 floors.
We take you. We bring you up. Yeah, we take you all the way to the 3rd floor, bring you all the way down to the basement, and then back up to the 1st floor and out.
And how many people will go through in a typical season?
Tens of thousands.
Yeah.
We start off slow. Obviously, I mean, a lot of people complain. Oh my God, it was backed up. We had to wait so long. If you don't want to wait in a long line, don't come on Sweetest Day.
Oh, that's a day, huh? Wow.
That's the day. Sweetest, there's 2-3 weekends there. We're going to be busy. We also have dynamic ticketing, that's our highest ticket price, but you can come, it's a $35 ticket. If you come on a $20 day, it's the same show. We're just trying to get people to come on the slower days,
Oh, I got you, yeah. So it's more expensive on the weekends, you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah, I got you. And, of course, you're probably in that mood where you want the weather to be kind of a little bit darker, probably pushes people towards your place.
You know what? It's not the dark. It's the coolness.
Coolness, okay.
It's the autumn air coming in, I mean, as soon as it gets a little cold, boom, it's Halloween time, I mean, It's fall time. Up until that point, it's boats, bikinis, and beaches and beer kind
That's
of thing,
right.
So Michigan's very unique in that regards.
And what do you got that's new? Obviously, you got the Making of the Monster. Anything else that's new for this year?
We got Making of the Monster. We brought a new crew in, so we got new blood that's in the haunted house. We redid the whole clown section. We're revamping a couple areas. We lot of new things going on in Making of the Monster. We're opening Oddities and Curiosities Museum.
Tell me about that, because there's a few of those type of things here in Southeast Michigan with the horror museum down in Monroe, and you got the Museum of Death up in Mount Clemens. So tell me about what you got.
Ours will be a little bit different. We have a little bit of that stuff. We have dinosaur bones. We got mortician and funeral parlor stuff. We got 350 vintage Halloween masks. I got a petrified leprechaun and a tooth fairy. I got a Fiji mermaid. We got stuffed piranhas. We got I probably got the world's largest collection of figurines, which are they're all what do they call them? I would say the underworld, but that's not right. From The Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings kind of thing. This guy is the guy they make him, they send him to him. He hand paints each and every one of these things and has like tons of hours. And it's a 20-year collection, and there's thousands of pieces.
Wow.
But it's pretty incredible. You look and just what it took to paint all these things.
And now, is this separate from going through EREBUS, or is this all part of the deal?
Completely separate.
Okay.
It's we teamed up with Steve Shipp. Most of that stuff was actually in his house in his basement.
Yeah.
I mean, all this crazy stuff. You can't believe how much stuff is in this thing. It's totally separate. It'll be open probably on the weekends. We're trying to get that open by the end of the month here.
Yeah, that when you brought up the wicker caskets and whatnot, it reminded me of at the Museum of Horror upstairs. Nate Thompson they had like all this old funeral stuff.
Okay.
And they had all caskets and different things like that up there.
He teamed up with Todd from the Museum of Death.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff is Todd's stuff up there. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of intertwine with each other. Good guys. There's just a lot of that kind of stuff that I've unearthed since I started doing this Haunted Michigan project here in Michigan. There's a lot of cool things.
Oh man, it's funny because as a normal guy, I own probably 70 caskets, 80 caskets.
That's not a normal guy, by the way. Normal guys don't own 70 caskets.
It's funny because I had my aunt one time goes, "Here you go, Ed," and she gave me this bag. Open the bag up, and I'm like, "What the hell?" It's a petrified squirrel. The teeth are being, skins pulled back, showing the teeth. I'm thinking, she goes, "Well, you're in the haunted house business. I figured you like that." I'm thinking, everything, it's kind of like talking to my daughter. Everything is pretend, hey,
right.
They're rubber bodies, man. They're not real,
That's how Jeffrey Dahmer started out, with petrified squirrels or something, right?
That's right,
Man, I went to Milwaukee last year, and I went to this place. I went to this place called the Rave. I don't know, maybe it got into my psyche, but I was watching the Dahmer stuff on Netflix. So I went to Milwaukee. I wanted to see the Harley-Davidson Museum and the whole thing. So I went to a concert with Guar the night, one of the nights there, and I went to this place. So it was October 28th, right around Halloween season. I'm at this place called the Rave, which is supposedly like really haunted. It's from the 1920s. It's like a poor man's Masonic temple,
Okay.
And right across the way, there's the Ambassador Hotel where Dahmer killed one of his people. So it's like, it was kind of crazy, but no Dahmer rooms in your place.
No, not this year. You know what though? We still have. We had Miss Patty's meat pies. We served meat pies at the exit. Or you can buy a meat pie and have a meat pie while you're waiting in line and stuff. But then when you go through the haunted house, you can kind of see how the meat pies are made. So it's like, I don't know. Well, our T-shirt said we had the freshest human meat available.
That's hysterical. Well, I wish you guys nothing but the best this year. EREBUS Haunted House. Once again, open since 2000, and you got the making of the monster, and all this stuff is on the website. People can find out all the details.
Yeah, everything's on hauntedpontiac.com. Making of the monster is also separate if you want to do that, but you can link to it through hauntedpontiac.com.
By the way, how has Pontiac treated you guys?
Pontiac's treat is awesome.
Yeah, good.
At first, I don't know if they wanted a haunted house in their city,
right?
Not knowing what we were going to do. But, I mean, we've gotten world recognition. We get people that fly in from different states, different countries, and check us out. We just had a convention come in from Chicago a couple months ago. And so, we pull a lot of people to downtown Pontiac.
Any celebrities come through?
Celebrities, hockey players, basketball players, a little bit of everything. Sometimes incognito, sometimes they call us, and, we have to sneak them in the back door and sneak them through. At one point in time, we had ICP actually acting in Haunted House. Yeah. So, a little bit of everything, Yeah,
I was going to say the guys for any of the bands playing over there at the Crowfoot want to walk through, I guess, huh?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes it's tough depending on how late they play and how late we're open,
Yeah, I got you. Well, thank you so much, by the way, for coming in.
I appreciate you having us.
It's an honor to meet you. And EREBUS, once again, you can check out all the information on hauntedpontiac.com. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, there you go. Haunted Michigan, I'm your host, Meltdown. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.
Happy Halloween.